Hello, welcome back, and thank you as always for joining me. Let's discuss something that's very fundamental today that we can find incredibly confusing. I mean, really, really confusing. And that is how the Holy Spirit actually works with us. Because in the abstract, it can sound all well and good. And this is true of any spiritual conversation that you ever listen to. Doesn't matter what tradition. You could hear someone on a podcast or watch somebody on a video or read someone's commentary in a book on social media, on the internet, wherever, and things could make really, really good sense right then and there in the moment. And when you go to put them into practice, that's when you realize, this is a little bit harder than I thought. And A Course in Miracles is absolutely no different from any other spiritual tradition in that manner, because ultimately, all of spirituality is about practical application. That's how we learn. I mean, it really is. It's how we learn the best and our most comprehensive, our most enduring lessons come from our taking the teachings and putting them into practice, whether we have a full, complete intellectual grip on them or not. It's in the practical application where we really and truly learn, in fact, because our experience shows us that the teachings are true. In fact, it proves to us, it demonstrates to us that, okay, all of this stuff that I'm reading, all the stuff that this dude, this pixelated image on my screen here is talking about, are actually true. And I proved it to myself. Powerful, right? Powerful. Spirituality is all about experience. Now, does it have some importance to understand these teachings? Yeah, I mean, it does. Yet they're simpler than we make them. In fact, the idea of allowing the Holy Spirit to enter into any relationship, not just your intimate personal relationships, but all of them, business too. I mean, really, everything. That is a concept that seems simple enough, yet when we go to do it, we're not sure it's going to work. We feel this possible sense of dread. Maybe you felt that, some sort of trepidation or an incredible resistance to actually doing it. Because we're not sure it's going to work often, right? And what's really going on with that kind of queasiness in our stomachs is that we are listening very, very firmly to the voice of the ego saying, don't do that. Don't do that. That's scary. Go back to the way things were, where, of course, you were uncomfortable or you never would have sought this out in the first place. The ego doesn't really think about that. All it does is sense a threat, not really understanding what that threat is. So, what is the ego so afraid of? Well, let's talk about that. Its own nothingness and, well, the fact that you will set it aside. Now, it doesn't have to be today. That's your choice, of course. But ultimately, we're all on this thing called the spiritual path. We're all drawn to this thing called spirituality because we know that in order to experience peace and happiness, eternal peace and happiness, the peace of God, we've got to leave all this little drama aside. We become very, very confused in how to do that. Well, this course tells you how to do that. The Holy Spirit tells you how to do that. When you invite your inner teacher to enter your experience, your relationships, your life, and run the show, rather than giving away your power, which is what we often fear, isn't it? We're accessing our power. And we are accessing our power because the Holy Spirit is part of you. It is. It's part of us. It is part of our mind. It's part of you. And what this part of our mind does is respond to our slightest invitation. So the course here uses many different forms of language to describe this, but when we show what it refers to as just a little willingness to let the Holy Spirit in, please enter this relationship, take this relationship, I offer you this relationship, this situation, that situation, something like that, whatever language you're called to use, the Holy Spirit responds to that instantly and fully and wholly and totally and completely. So you may most certainly count on that, which, of course, does not mean that you're going to see an instant gratification kind of result. You may, that is indeed possible, but in the event that you don't, just know that when you answer the call of the Holy Spirit to awaken, when you allow your inner teacher to enter, he's there. Count on that. The results may take some time to show. This is where faith and, yes, that concept of being patient comes into play. Here's how the Holy Spirit, in fact, works with us. The Holy Spirit sees everything for what it is, sees what is, which is wholeness, union, oneness, perfect oneness, totality, that sort of thing. Now, we, on the other hand, perceive everything as fragmented. We, first of all, see ourselves as individual human beings, cut off and separate from 8 billion other human beings and counting every day. Yeah, more and more all the time. And in addition to that, we see all of the other apparently separate life forms that we share this spinning ball of rock with. All of that. Yeah. We look out with the body's eyes, and what we appear to see is multiplicity. The Holy Spirit sees only oneness, perfect oneness. In other words, he looks right past all of our little drama. That is how that operates, which is why we're invited to place our trust in it, in him, as a guide, quite frankly. Should we choose to do it, the Holy Spirit will help us look past all of the differences in form, past what appears on the surface, and will help us look past all of that, right directly past all of that to the essence of what is, to seeing things as they really are, to our perfect oneness, to your oneness with your brother, our oneness with our brother. The Holy Spirit helps you with that. Now, because we see things as fragmented, we all appear to be seeing things from what we call an individual point of view. And shocking, not at all. In fact, it's not at all shocking that we all see things differently. We have differing, widely differing views. Politics, one example, right? Different spiritual and religious traditions fighting with each other, doing pitched battle, another example. Yeah, one of many. I mean, just think of two people looking at the same painting by a given artist. Doesn't matter who it is. It's quite likely that one person is enraptured, moved to tears, just loves the painting, for many reasons, and the other person can look at the exact same thing that one person finds enrapturing. The other person can think it's really ugly and bad art. Yeah. Another example. So, because we see things upside down and backwards, quite literally, we see separation and specificity. The Holy Spirit goes to work helping us with this. Now, because he sees things as they are, whole and total, the goal of the Holy Spirit is general, very general. However, when he goes to work with us, we see things as specific, so we get what appears to be specific individual instruction, and it is situational as well, because one forgiveness opportunity certainly looks different from another forgiveness opportunity. They all appear to be different because, well, we appear to be forgiving different things. You might be in a place where you're forgiving somebody right now. And the next minute, it could be that you're forgiving a passing cloud. Or perhaps if you spill hot coffee on yourself and it hurts, you're forgiving the coffee or yourself for spilling it. Yeah. I mean, it could look like any number of different things, and they all appear to be different. That is simply a difference of form, which is highly specific. The content, the essence of it, is general. It is not specific at all. One act of forgiveness is forgiveness. The essence of each and every act of forgiveness is exactly the same. This is another way of understanding the very first sentence of chapter 1, section 1, paragraph 1, sentence 1 of the text. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. This is saying the exact same thing. They are all alike, and they are all equally powerful. All expressions of love are maximal. That's what we're told here in the very same section of the text. All expressions of love are maximal. So while we may not see the general application of each and every forgiveness lesson, the Holy Spirit does. And this is where we relax and trust his guidance, because what we have in front of us that annoys us is an opportunity to forgive. It is a gift from the Holy Spirit. Now, of course, it doesn't feel like it because we could be angry and enraged. And, perhaps your country is involved in an election cycle with high stakes. I mean, there could be any number of different things. I mean, life comes at us, apparently. It appears to come at us. But as we continue to forgive, we realize it's actually coming from us. But if that is something that is completely foreign at first, the Holy Spirit gives you what you're able to do right now. He'll never give you too much more than you can handle. It's quite natural to feel that way, but understand that that's true. We all appear to get these specific, individualized lessons because we all have our own forgiveness opportunities. Yours will look different from mine, which will look different from someone else's. That is simply a difference in form. It's the content that matters. Forgiveness, the extension of love, forgiveness, true forgiveness is a miracle. It's you're extending a miracle to the Son of God. Now, to whom do you extend it? Yourself. It looks like you're forgiving somebody else, oftentimes. Your brother is you. There is no separation of any kind. When we begin to grasp this, it's really powerful. And if it feels a long ways off to grasp the power of it, the best way to develop this confidence is to act. Action equals confidence in this case. And well, and that's true of all of life too, isn't it? Put these teachings into practice. Forgive, forgive, forgive. See how you feel after you've done it for a significant period of time. And you may rightly ask, and this is a very, very good question, what do I forgive? Okay, well, anything that is not wholly joyous. So anything that makes you feel icky, basically, whether it's in a sense of anger, a sense of fear or frustration. Perhaps you're annoyed at somebody and you instantly rush to judge them as an idiot. I mean, I think we all have that come up in life, right? Yeah, I mean, we do. Anything that is not wholly joyous is, in fact, an opportunity to forgive. So, what we then do is we become aware of it. So, when we remember to do it, we do it. In this sense, life is much like a meditation practice. Okay. Now, let's just use the example of a formal seated meditation practice where the traditional object of meditation is the breath. It can be anything else, right? Of course. But when you notice your mind carried off, you simply bring your awareness back to the object of meditation. When you notice yourself judging, forgive, bring your awareness back to the object of meditation. See? It's the exact same thing. That is why practices like meditation, practices like all of the mindfulness practices that we see out there, that's why they're a thing in spirituality, because our present moment awareness is very important. It's key. When you become aware that you're judging, forgive. Rinse, repeat. Very much. Rinse, repeat. What will happen is over time, forgiving what appear to be specific individual things, we'll begin to appreciate the totality of it and the universal application of our forgiveness. We'll begin to recognize the generality of it. And at this point, you can really go big. You've been going big. Remember, there's no order of difficulty in miracles. But here's where you can forgive the entire world, forgive the ego. It's nothing. It's a simple mistake, which we can set aside. Forgive space, time, forgive the world, forgive entire nation states, forgive entire political parties, forgive your brother, forgive yourself for dreaming it. General, you can start to appreciate going big and forgiving, forgiving, forgiving. The Holy Spirit will present you with these opportunities. And if all you feel like you're able to do today is forgive a passing cloud for temporarily blotting out your sun, no problem. How is that any different from forgiving the entire world? It's not. We do what is right in front of us. Life dishes out multiple opportunities every day, which we would all recognize, because we're not always feeling peaceful and calm. I mean, you may put this video down when it's done and start scrolling your news feed on another site where people post whatever they want. They post hatred because they can, don't they? Misinformation. So it's so important that you're doing what you're doing right now. And I often come back to this. Here's why. Your dedication and commitment to your spiritual practice is the highest, best form of offering you could ever make. And I hope that you get the magnitude of that. In a world that always seems to be spiraling out of control, for you to invest 20 minutes or so in listening to your inner teacher is absolutely huge. Now, and we, of course, would all do very, very well to not only listen, but to act on it. Because again, it always comes back to this. That's how we learn. You want to learn this course? Act on it. Forgive, forgive, forgive. And people like pixelated image on your screen over here will always be there to answer any questions, which is an invitation to type them out if you've got them. Yeah, because there have been a number of really, really good questions and topics for discussion posed right here in the comment thread on YouTube. So if you have questions, I invite you to just send them here and we will talk about them here. Several videos appear each week. And while we're going through the text of A Course in Miracles, I'm absolutely more than happy to pause and have a different conversation because I'm very, very interested in what's coming up for you live. So several videos appear each week. Now, if you have not subscribed, please do that. We'd love to have you join us. The prompt is there in the corner of your screen. It's that arrow. Click it, you'll be prompted to subscribe and join us. So please do that. And again, anything that is not wholly joyous is, in fact, an opportunity to forgive. Questions if you've got them. Okay. Thank you so much. And I will see you all again very soon.